Ziadadi. Episode 2. After the nikah, he had quietly left the punchiat. But he didn't forget to vent his anger when he reached the mansion. We went there to take blood money, not a wife or a daughter-in-law. He growled. What did you think? That we would bring the girl without a nikah? Babajan asked in a composed yet sarcastic tone. A nikah was necessary, but not with me. There are thousands of loyal servants in this mansion. You could have married her to any of them. Get a hold of yourself, Yeshab. I have come to my senses. And with this very sense, I will end the root cause of this problem and settle the score. He shouted as he strode toward Hia, standing at a distance. Let go. She whimpered in a choked voice. Yeshab, let the girl go. Come to your senses. What madness is this? Babajan tried to remove Yeshab's hands, which were gripping Hia's throat. Move, Babajan. I will end this matter right here. Yeshab. Babajan roared, making Yeshab glare at Hia's trembling form before he violently let go of her. Hia wasn't prepared for the sudden push. She lost her balance and stumbled to the side, hitting her forehead against the sharp edge of a table. Blood started oozing from the wound. Shaking his head, Yeshab stormed out of the hall. Meru, child, take care of the girl, Babajan instructed before leaving for the men's quarters. Meru helped Hia onto the sofa and quickly brought a first aid box. She cleaned the wound, bandaged it, and then left the hall. Now, only Hia and Bibijan remained. Come here, Bibijan called her. Hia walked hesitantly toward her and stood still. Sit. Hia was about to sit on the floor when Bibijan signaled her to take a seat on the sofa. What is your name? Hia. Are you Dilawar Khan's daughter or niece? Daughter. Are you the only child? Why yes. I have a brother, Shamslala. Bibijan let out a long sigh. Yeshab's anger is like the traditional men of this land. But he is not evil at heart. Yeshab wasn't just his older brother. He was his best friend too. He is unable to bear this loss. She wiped away a tear. Bibijan, Shamslala didn't kill Yeshab Afridi on purpose. It was an accident. There is no use talking about it now, child. The one who left will never return, she said sadly. I am sorry. Hia folded her hands in remorse. Why are you apologizing, child? You have no fault in this. Just then, Meru arrived with a glass of turmeric milk. Drink this painkiller and this turmeric milk. It will soothe you. Hia looked at her in surprise. One person in the mansion was giving her wounds, while another was trying to heal them. Seeing her confusion, Meru placed the glass in Hia's hands and patted her gently. Drink it. Yes, child, drink it. You will feel better. All right, Meru, I am going to my room. Make sure she eats. Yes, Bibijanuri. Meru nodded. Bibijan looked at Meru with a sorrowful gaze and gave her a blessing. Stay safe, child. She used to bless her with lifelong marital happiness. But given the current circumstances, she had changed her prayer. Has Yeshab returned? Bibijan asked Meru, who had brought her a glass of warm milk. No, not yet. Where is Hia? In the guest room. Did she eat? Yes. Just a little. That too, forcibly. Take her to Yeshab's room. Bibijan, his anger. He will return only after cooling his anger. If he finds her elsewhere, he will create another scene. It's better if she is already there. He brought her here. Now, he should keep her, she spoke firmly. Yes. You drink this milk and rest. I will take her. Stay blessed, Bibijan said, looking at Meru with sadness. Around 2:30 or 3 a.m. Yeshab entered his room but stopped short when he saw a figure sleeping on his bed. Fury boiled within him. He stormed toward the bed and yanked the blanket away. Hia had barely fallen asleep after hours of crying when this storm hit. She jolted awake and, upon seeing Yeshab Afridi's blazing red eyes, quickly scrambled off the bed, trembling. What are you doing here? He controlled his anger, speaking in a dangerously calm tone. I. Seeing her hesitation. And what relation do you have with her? Your brother put her husband in a grave and draped her in a widow's shawl. And now you're forming family ties. His grip tightened on her chin. And no. Silence. He pressed a finger against her lips. From now on, if you speak unnecessarily, I will cut out your tongue. Understood? Then, grabbing her wrist, he dragged her out of the room. She struggled, her legs barely keeping up as he pulled her through the halls of the Harvey. He took her down to the basement. This is your real place. Don't even think about stepping beyond it, he spat before slamming the door shut. Behind him, Hia was left alone in the cold, dark basement, sobbing. It had been over a week since Hia was locked in the basement. No one had come to see her, nor was she called out. Only an old servant, Sakina, brought her food and water. And today, after 12 days, Sakina arrived with a message. Little Khan has called you to his room. Hearing this, Hia hesitated. Being called to Yashab Afridi's room at this hour seemed improper. She refused to go. But before Sakina could leave, Yashab himself arrived. Did you say something to Sakina? He asked, standing before her. And no. Hia shook her head quickly. Just a moment ago, you told her to tell me to come here if I had anything to say. And no. No such thing. Do you remember what I told you? Why, yes. What? If I speak unnecessarily, you'll cut out my tongue. She repeated in a small voice. Good. You're smart. So tell me, if you remembered, why did you refuse to come? His voice was now a deep growl. It was a mistake. Forgive me. She pleaded. Forgiven. Now, will you come with me willingly, or should I? I'll come. She answered immediately. Good. Let's go. Following him, Hia entered his room. Do you see this room? Yashab turned to her. Why, yes. From now on, you will stay here. She looked at him in shock. Don't be too surprised. You're not staying here as the mistress of the room, but as a servant. Understand? You will live here, and I will tell you your duties as we go. Never speak to me unless I speak to you first. Right? Why, yes. She nodded blankly. Good. Now, find a blanket from the cupboard and lay it on the floor. That's where you'll sleep from now on. A shiver ran down her spine. Sleep on the floor in this cold. Dragging herself to the cupboard, she searched but could only find a thick shawl. She wasn't sure whether to lay it down or use it as a cover. Yashab, having finished his instructions, had already disappeared into the bathroom. With a heavy heart, Hia placed the shawl on the floor and lay down, pulling her smaller scarf tightly around herself. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she thought of her warm, comfortable room back home. Oh, fate! How merciless you are! Would her prayers ever bring her old life back? Only time would tell.